Hey there, Steph here. Today I am enjoying this beautiful weather, and I also want to talk to you about why the term too late is actually a term that makes no sense at the starting line, only at the finish line. I want to offer you a reframe that can change everything for you and help you to start moving on those dreams and passions that have been keeping you up late at night. So let's begin. All right, I get it. Social media as well as society tells us all the time that youth is valuable. And so for a lot of times we might feel we're too old to take on a project or dream. It might be in the past for us, but how do we know? And that's the thing, we don't know. So why do we buy into this, or why do we hesitate to take action on it? And I think there's a few reasons, maybe 4 things that are keeping us from it on why we don't want to move forward or why we buy into the lie that it's too late. I think one is that we don't want to waste too much time, energy, or money on something that might have a very low probability of being successful. And I get it, but to that I would say just don't throw all of your time, money, and energy from the starting line. Just like anything you did when you were younger, it's the same process here. You start with slow incremental steps, and as you are successful in those, you build more and more courage and more belief in yourself to maybe start to compound those investments. Say you had the dream of performing on Broadway and you're like, well, but I might be too old for that. What I would suggest is not just throwing everything you got at Broadway and clearing your savings out and quitting your job and just going all out. I would suggest getting the cobwebs off with some acting classes, some dancing classes, some singing classes, that sort of thing. Or, utilizing free resources online and then looking at local groups or anything that has a lower stakes where you can get involved. And even if they don't cast you, that is not the end of your dream. Just like anything else, you take these at-bats, then you take a step back, you learn, and you iterate on it. That's all that progress has ever been in the past and all it should be today. The second reason why I think some people are okay buying into the lie that's too late before even starting is because we are afraid of reaching our limits. We're afraid of actually reaching and knowing our limits because that's mortality. We don't want to feel like physically or mentally there is something that we can no longer do or do as well as we used to when we were younger. In life, there's nothing that you've taken on that wasn't hard at first before it got easier. That is just the nature of taking on any new project. But as we get older, a lot of times we completely buy in to the fact that something's hard physically, oh, it's because I'm aging and this is part of my decline. Or if something's challenging mentally, oh, because my mental cognition is aging and it's part of the decline. But I want to encourage you to be very thoughtful about what you say to yourself because the research backs this up. The way you think about aging and the way you feel about aging impacts the way you age. In fact, Ellen Langer has a ton of research on how important our mind-body connection is and how much our thought process influences our physical as well as our mental and emotional energy. So I'm just suggesting to you, when you hit a limit on your physical or mental abilities, to not assume that's because you are declining in age or this is part of the process. Maybe it is just a challenge because you haven't done this in a while. Take a moment, talk to experts in the field, and find out for you if that is just a hurdle that you can overcome or if there is another pivot or strategic way you can go about it. In the end, it's not a bad thing to stretch and feel like you're reaching your limits. That is possibility. And there are so many people in their lives that never get anywhere close to their limits. So if you feel like you're really stretching yourself and reaching the outer edge of your limits, that's exciting. That's where the magic happens. All right, the third and fourth reason are really around emotions. Number 3 is we are worried we'll be embarrassed, and number 4 is we want to protect our ego. And these are pretty well connected. We are sometimes worried about being embarrassed because as you age, if the gap is partly because you are older, that can be hurtful in a different way because aging is not something that we can undo. And so it's not, where there's a skill gap, you can work on building those skills. But if there's an age gap, and therefore that's why you're not being successful, that can be hurtful. But I strongly encourage you to not let people's judgments stop you from your dreams, because that's ultimately what you're doing. If you are worried about being embarrassed or fear of judgment, you are letting their judgment be more important and take a higher priority than you living out your dreams. And that's what this ultimately comes down to. This is your life, and as far as we know, this is your one life that you get to live. So you want to make it what you want it to be. The only way to know if it is too late for your dream is to go and take action on your dream. As Jim Rohn would say, you got to try it. I personally would love to see somebody take action on their dreams in these small steps and then let those successes compound. And if they get to a point that they realize that this dream is behind them, then they can pivot into something else because those skills and those experiences are transferable. I know for me personally, I've had several instances in my life when I thought something was too late, only to realize it wasn't. I didn't do an internship in college in the entertainment industry, and I was told by everybody that's the way to get in, is internship into entry-level position and so forth. So a few years out of college, I assumed my time had passed on that. It didn't. Years later, I actually broke into the entertainment industry, and as you know, I'm now an executive producer. So if I held on to that belief that it was too late back then, I would be in a totally different place. And my life is full of lots of these examples, and I'm sure yours is too. I mean, I'll just give you another example. YouTube's a perfect example. YouTube started in 2005. By 2006, by July 2006, there was about 65,000 videos being posted per day. So if you would have asked somebody in 2006, is it too late to start on YouTube? I'm sure they probably would have said yes. I should have gotten it before. It's too late now. Fast forward 20 years, there's over 20 million videos posted per day. So at this point of view, we can look back and say, actually, when it was 65,000, that was the golden time, not when it's 20 million. But then you have to ask, is it too late now? Well, who knows? In 20 more years, it might be 200 million videos a day. And then we'll look back saying we should have posted when there was only 20 million videos a day. You see what I'm saying? It's all relative. And I would rather look back at my life and take those chances and walk through those experiences and find out for myself if it is too late versus me only depending on others to tell me if it's too late or not. I want to start the process on my own, and I want to get to the finish line, and then I can determine if it is too late or not. All right, so I hope this video was helpful to you. Please post in the comments below if you can think of a time in your life where you thought something was too late only to find out that it was not. I think this would be really helpful for other people to read and see as we encourage each other to become who we want to be, one playful, messy sprint at a time. All right, until next time, see ya.